remain modestly higher ahead of tomorrow's report on June retail inflation. Dow Industrial's up 228, the S&P is up 16, the Nasdaq up 27. The bankruptcies of Bed Bath & Beyond, Party City, and others may not be the last among retailers. Moody's Investor Service says weakening demand and tight credit will likely push others over the edge. It names Carvana and Rite Aid among those at high risk. Larry Kofsky, Bloomberg Radio.
Check on the noontime traffic next. Brought to you by McCrory Carpet One and Olympic Medical Center.
Buying locally doesn't always mean paying more. At McCrory Carpet One, they're a part of a cooperative that bands together over 1,000 family businesses just like them to form the largest floor buying group in America. Together, they buy over $7 billion in flooring. That means not only do you get the best prices and quality installation, but you help support local jobs and families. For over 60 years, always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One.
Do you have a passion for healthcare? Olympic Medical Center can help you turn that passion into a rewarding career. OMC offers a variety of opportunities for people of all skill levels and backgrounds. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take your career to the next level, OMC can help you achieve your goals. You'll receive the training, support, and guidance you need to succeed. Why not make your passion your profession? Learn more at olympicmedical.org/careers.
Newsradio KONP, traffic and roads.
At the Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go. That's where Steve's standing by with an eye on the noontime road and traffic conditions for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, busy afternoon out there. If you're out and about, fair amount of cars through the towns, both Port Angeles and Sequim. A little slow going in places, but overall, shouldn't be too bad a commute for you. Just a little patience and pay attention to what's going on around you. If you're on the highway between Port Angeles and Sequim, they are doing some painting out there right now. So far, it really hasn't caused too much of a problem. But as you come across those paint crews, just be very careful and make your way around them and let them get their job done. But they've been moving along at a pretty good clip, so we should be in good shape out there. Now, if you're headed out any further, Hood Canal Bridge currently is good to go with no scheduled openings. State ferries are doing fairly well out there. So far, they're pretty much on time all the way across the board there. If you're headed out to the west end towards the Forks area, we do have our construction area at the bottom of the Owa Hill. Definitely slow her down and pay attention to your speeds through there. Beyond that, though, Mount Mueller area, just the west side of the lake, they are putting up the poles that they were going to do yesterday. They're doing today, and it is down to single-lane traffic out there, so be aware of that. Other than that, just a beautiful afternoon. Everybody take care and be safe. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
A colleague of mine asked an interesting question the other day. Is shy something you feel or something you are? According to a new study, it could be either. Researchers in Canada did this. They invited 7- and 8-year-olds into a lab and told them they'd be giving a speech that would be shown to other kids. Now, no surprise, the kids whose parents said they were shy tended to be more nervous, but so did some of the kids whose parents said were not shy. It's likely that the experience of shyness in response to a speech task is a relatively common normative experience for children at that age. And the experts we talked to stressed that shyness isn't necessarily a bad thing. The point is, not everyone needs to be exuberant and outgoing. They did suggest parents keep an eye out for true anxiety, which can fester. That's different, and that's something you can help your kids actually work through. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Hey y'all, my name is Tiara, and a little thing that I love about the Chick-fil-A Spicy Chicken Biscuit is that it has the perfect amount of spice to jumpstart my day. Whoever thought of it, thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Robert, and a little thing I love about Chick-fil-A Spicy Chicken Biscuit is the biscuit. It reminds me of my grandma's homemade biscuit. It's always buttery and savory. Then you add the spices, instant classic.
Order the Spicy Chicken Biscuit on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
It's your last chance to shop July 4th savings at Lowe's. Right now, save on select major appliances, and when you buy more, you save more. Get up to an additional $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Plus, right now when you buy a Craftsman V20 string trimmer or blower for just $99, you'll get a select Bear tool free. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 7/12. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Buy more, save more. Valid on appliances $396 or more while supplies last. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for details.
Hello, I'm Jerry Stewart, and this is One Moment in America. Our Civil War was a terrible time of suffering and hardship and death. But amidst all of that suffering, something very wonderful did happen in America. I'll tell you that story after this important message.
Hey, Kelly, answer me a question. What's the greatest nation in the world?
That's easy. America.
Would you ever leave America?
No way. I love America. Jerry, why all the questions?
Well, because I'm concerned. America is changing so much, so fast. There's too much crime and disrespect, and most of us are doing nothing.
But we do have so many good people in America, right?
Yes, we do. But so many are doing nothing to save America.
Then what do we do?
Well, we must act. If not, the children, our future leaders, may never see our American greatness.
And what can you do to help? You can help us. God has shown us a way, and we are determined to do our part. Go now to www.jerrystewartusa.com and see our Saving America website. It's a place full of great stories and a site for all ages.
Do you love America? Want to save America? Go to www.jerrystewartusa.com to help us.
Our Civil War was a terribly destructive time in our history, with literally hundreds of thousands of lives destroyed. But this fact you may not know. During that 5 years of our Civil War, one of the greatest religious revivals took place in America, and so many accepted Jesus Christ as their Savior. The battle hymn of the Republic tells that story quite well. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Are you in God's army? I'm Jerry Stewart, and that was One Moment in America.
For the Washington State News Network, I'm Michael McDonald. Governor Jay Inslee making stops in central Washington today, including a visit to Coyote Ridge Correction Center in Connell. He'll be meeting officials there with the State Department of Corrections for a roundtable discussion.
Meet with staff, possibly some incarcerated individuals as well. He likes to, I know, have a nice conversation about what they're doing and what's going on in the facilities.
That's DOC spokesperson Chris Wright. He said the roundtable topics include rehabilitative model of justice to help inmates start a new trajectory after their release. Governor Inslee also will visit Moses Lake for a groundbreaking on a sustainable jet fuel production facility, and Othello to learn more about Washington State University's honeybee and pollinator research extension. Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife is getting more reports of close encounters with black bears. Residents in Bellevue and Bothell have reported bear sightings. They've attacked pets and backyard livestock like goats or chickens, and Fish and Wildlife says it's not uncommon to see bears in urban areas. They advise people to keep garbage cans indoors, don't leave pet food outside, and don't have bird feeders. And reports that the northern lights will be visible across 16 states, including Washington, may not happen. The website EarthSky, which monitors solar activity, says recent reports that there will be geomagnetic storms that will trigger a more widespread aurora borealis are not true. For details on these stories and more, download the WSNN mobile app or visit WashingtonStateNews.net.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. That's the sound of floodwaters rushing down a slope in a neighborhood in Highland Falls, New York. A storm that's left up to 2 months' worth of rain in Vermont and saturated other parts of the Northeast is moving out, but more flooding is expected. Kathy Eason, who volunteers at a community center in Highland Falls, says water kept pouring into the building during the rainfall.
I heard a splashing, and when I looked up, Main Street was already flooded. And the water kept rising higher and higher and higher, and then it got to the steps of the center, and then it started coming in under the door.
One death due to drowning was recorded in Hudson Falls. Also at townhall.com, NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg says the alliance is sending Ukraine a strong message on several fronts.
There's never been a stronger message from NATO at any time, both when it comes to the political message on the path forward for membership and the concrete support from NATO allies, military support, but also the practical support on how to ensure full interoperability.
On another issue, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says Turkey has withdrawn its objections to Sweden joining the alliance.
In a lot of the coverage coming into the summit, I would say rumors of the death of NATO's unity were greatly exaggerated.
Meanwhile, President Biden and his NATO counterparts have endorsed the biggest shakeup of the way the military alliance would respond to any attack on its territory by Russia since the Cold War. The plans, inspired in part by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, lay out which of the 31 members would be called on to respond to an attack anywhere in Europe. On Wall Street, the Dow had 246 points, and the Nasdaq is adding 35. More at townhall.com.
Recent bank failures are serving as a warning about how fragile our banking system really is. As millions of Americans panic, do you know what central banks are doing? Well, they're actually buying up gold at record levels. They're relying on it as a safe haven during these difficult times. That's how confident they are in the dollar. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnow, Christian author and evangelical leader to millions of people just like you. We're all Americans who want to protect our family's savings no matter what. I tell people the best option is to diversify their 401k or IRA into physical gold or silver with the help of Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, just text the word FAITH to the number 989898 to get a free information kit on gold IRAs. Look, there's no strings attached. It's not going to hurt you to take action now. So take the first step today and educate yourself. Get your free info kit when you text FAITH to 989898 right now. And I pray you and your family are greatly blessed.
Heavy rains continuing to cause havoc across northern India, claiming at least 20 lives since Saturday.
There is no rain at the moment. In fact, the weather is clear at most places in the region, which has brought relief to people. But 3 days of incessant rainfall has left behind a trail of destruction in northern states of Punjab, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh. Weather forecasters have warned heavy rains are expected to continue in the region for the next few days. More than 40 people are now known to have died in the past few days of heavy rains and flooding in northern India.
BBC correspondent Arvind Shabra. South African weather officials warning of continued very cold temperatures, but say no further snow is expected for the rest of the week after parts of the country experienced unusual flurries. Johannesburg residents experienced snowfall for the first time since 2012. Breaking news at townhall.com. Republican lawmakers in Iowa seeking to push through legislation that would ban abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy.
Iowa's legislature is spending today in a marathon of committee hearings and floor debates in both chambers, with votes likely to extend late into the night. Republican Governor Kim Reynolds ordered the rare session after the state Supreme Court declined to reinstate a law she signed in 2018 that is almost identical to the one being proposed today. Currently, abortion is legal in the state up to 20 weeks of pregnancy. The current draft, like the 2018 law, would prohibit abortion once cardiac activity can be detected, which is usually around 6 weeks of pregnancy. I'm Donna Warder.
Record ocean heat has invaded Florida with a vengeance. Water temperatures in the mid-90s are threatening delicate coral reefs, depriving swimmers of cooling dips, and just adding more ick to the state's already oppressive summer weather. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Todd Ortloff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Tuesday, July 11th. For the second year in a row, Washington saw an increase in homicides and other violent crimes in 2022, while the number of officers statewide dropped to its lowest rate in history. The Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs released its annual crime report yesterday. It showed that last year property crime increased by 9.8%, and violent crimes, which include aggravated assault, homicide, forcible sex offenses, and robbery, increased 8.9% compared with 2021. There were 394 homicides in Washington state last year. That's an increase of almost 17% in 1 year. In 2022, the number of officers decreased by 70 to around 10,600 officers statewide. The drop brought the staffing rate to 1.36 officers per 1,000 people. That puts Washington at the 51st lowest rate among all U.S. states and Washington, D.C., for now the 13th year in a row. On the heels of last week's groundbreaking ceremony and the news that Habitat for Humanity is planning to build over 50 affordable workforce housing units in Sequim, word that Habitat has now purchased a derelict property in Port Angeles. It plans to build a new fourplex there. For years, the city of Port Angeles has pursued enforcement action at the corner of Fairmount Avenue and Hazel Street. A house fire resulted in the residence becoming uninhabitable and junk accumulated in what remained of the property. City manager Nathan West says the property owner was uncooperative despite city enforcement efforts, but the city's legal department was eventually able to commence condemnation proceedings. He says it led to a good outcome.
That triggered the property owner to actually consider selling to the city of Port Angeles. The city was then able to turn the property around and put it out for a request for proposals. And now we've seen Habitat for Humanity become the successful proposer. Whenever we have a complaint that is impacting an entire neighborhood, and I will tell you, I personally received multiple complaints from different individuals in this neighborhood about the burnt down house. It's important we find a way to follow through and turn that situation around. So extremely grateful to Habitat for Humanity for stepping up and making that turnaround a reality.
Habitat's executive director, Colleen Robinson, last week presented details to the city council describing the plan to build 4 new housing units there. West said it's another step toward fulfilling the city's top strategic plan priority for new housing. In other news, voting in the 2023 primary is about to get underway. Some 41,000 ballots to be mailed to Clallam County voters tomorrow. County Elections Office says that you should watch for a ballot to arrive over the next week. Election Day, Tuesday, August 1st. Those ballots must be postmarked or in a drop box by then. Local jurisdictions taking part in the primary include the Clallam County Commissioner District Number 1, City of Port Angeles primary race, and a primary for Sequim School District. To participate in the primary, those not registered to vote in Washington have until July 24th to register online or by mail. The food banks of the North Olympic Peninsula about to get a massive windfall of food and other supplies from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. A semi-truck loaded with 40,000 pounds of food and personal items is set to be delivered to the Port Angeles Food Bank tomorrow. Marianne Burton, communications director for the church, said local church leaders took action to make this happen after seeing the increasing challenges of the 4 food banks in our area, Forks, Port Angeles, Sequim, and Port Townsend. Burton says caring for the poor and needy is a foundational belief of the church, and this is part of a program that has been in place worldwide since the 1940s.
The church's welfare and self-reliance efforts started in the aftermath of World War II. The church has always taught self-reliance to its members, store away what you can, have something for a rainy day. But then on a global level, it's the same way. The scriptural reference, we're told to love one another, and take care of our neighbor, and that's at the heart of this program.
Burton says the 20 tons of food and household items consists of 20 full pallets, an entire shipping container, which will be sorted and then distributed from the Port Angeles Food Bank, chosen because of its superior capacity for storage right now. She says food bank directors here were given a long list of what was available at the headquarters in Utah, and they were able to customize their orders according to the highest needs. The church's 2022 annual global report on caring for those in need shows this work includes more than $1 billion in expenditures, 6.3 million hours volunteered, and nearly 3,700 humanitarian projects in 190 countries and territories. State DOT workers starting a painting project along Highway 101 yesterday from Sequim to Port Angeles, likely to snarl traffic a bit until they finish the job Thursday. Travelers using both directions of 101 in Sequim and PA should plan for extra travel time. Road striping happens between 9 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. each day. Again, that's through Thursday. Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson facing further scrutiny over his shifting of $1.2 million of contributions from past campaigns into the account for his 2024 bid for governor. A complaint filed last month contends the individual donors of those contributions must be identified, and their past donations, originally for Ferguson's re-election and now considered surplus funds, should count toward contribution limits in his campaign for governor. Now, this is the second complaint regarding Ferguson's handling of the money. The first, filed in May, continues to be investigated. Both raised the question of whether Ferguson must abide by recent commission actions to require greater disclosure of the source of surplus funds. Candidates can make transfers from such funds into a campaign for a new office in a lump sum with permission from each affected donor. However, until recently, they did not have to disclose the names of those donors or the amount they gave in the first place. Meantime, the AG's office will issue a formal opinion on whether Franklin County commissioners wrongly approved increases to their fringe benefits paid to them instead of medical benefits. But it's unclear when the opinion will be finished because it'll take time to research, according to a June 26th letter signed by two deputy solicitors general in the AG's office. The dispute stems from a 2016 decision by Franklin County commissioners to allow all employees, including themselves, to take a cash payout or contribution to a health reimbursement account instead of county health insurance coverage they would normally receive as part of their job. Now, that vote happened shortly after the 2016 November general election, raising the question whether the commissioners could legally vote to give themselves that money. This is Newsradio KONP.
Experience the delightful scents of the season with Airport Garden Center. Step into our oasis and immerse yourself in the fragrant beauty of roses. Our wide variety of roses cater to every nose and maintenance preference. And the best part, they're currently on sale. Whether you prefer fragrant, miniature, climbing, or tree roses, we have them all. Hurry in to take advantage of our ongoing rose sale where all in-stock roses are now 20% off while supplies last. Indulge in the serenity of our garden and consider adding a stunning addition to your own. Plus, with our highly knowledgeable staff along with complimentary advice, your garden will thrive for years to come. We extend a heartfelt thank you to our incredible customers for nominating Airport Garden Center as the best in Clallam County in various categories, including garden store, farm supply store, animal supply store, customer service, landscaping, and unique gift store. We are immensely grateful to our community for their support. Visit us on Edgewood Drive in Port Angeles.
Here's a look at what's happening. Teen songwriting workshops happening in Port Angeles at the main library. That'll be this Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. Teens in grades 7 through 12 can explore the basics of songwriting during the 2-hour workshop with Seattle musicians Kay Van Petten and Connor Colbert. You're invited to the Lodge at Sherwood Village's 18th anniversary open house. It's this Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m. Kids in grades 4 through 7 can learn how to draw comics with Dana Sullivan. The North Olympic Library System inviting kids in grades 4 through 7 to those workshops at Sequim Middle School in the gym this Thursday from 4 to 5 p.m. and at the Port Angeles Main Library Thursday, July 20th. That's from 3 to 4 p.m. Clallam County Master Gardeners back again with their Green Thumb Education Series this Thursday from noon to 1 p.m. at the Port Angeles Library in the Carver Room. This time out, tips and tricks from a flower farmer. Again, that is free and it is open to the public. DSHS's Mobile Community Services Office is coming this Friday to the Squim Food Bank between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m., 144 West Alder Street. North Olympic Library System is excited to offer a new teen book club this summer at the Port Angeles Main Library. Teens grades 7 through 12 will read the books on their own and then join library staff for discussions. It gets started this Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. when teens will discuss Pet. Books are available now while supplies last. Again, that's through the Port Angeles Library. It's an all-Grange dessert auction this Saturday. Bidding starts at 1 p.m. This is going to be at the Squim Prairie Grange, 290 Maclay Road in Squim. There'll be a variety of baked goods to be auctioned off. Proceeds to benefit all the Granges in Clallam and Jefferson counties. And that's a look at what's happening. Now check the weather forecast. Sunny today, mid-60s. Clear tonight with some clouds overnight. Lows near 50. Tomorrow, cloudy and a slight chance of rain on the way tomorrow. Look for your highs to be in the mid-60s, maybe 70. It clears out by Wednesday night, then partly sunny to mostly sunny Thursday, mid-60s to low 70s. And Friday looks sunny with a low to mid-70s high. Sunny on Saturday and mid to upper 70s. Sunny for Sunday, highs in the 70s again. Mostly sunny for Monday next week with your highs near 70 degrees. We'll get a last look at some business news and the market numbers right before things close on Wall Street for the day. That's coming up next.
Hello. This is Amanda Huff with Squim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called natural organic reduction, or simply terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you'd like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Squim Valley Chapel in Squim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
If you're an avid DIYer or builder, it's a necessity to have the right tool for the job. Makita and Milwaukee Power Tools have more than 200 right tools for the job, all running on their own battery platforms. That means a battery from your Makita or Milwaukee drill will also fit the battery to your same brand circular saw, leaf blower, grinder, or any of the other 196 tools they make. At Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel's, we stock the largest selection of Makita and Milwaukee Power Tools in the area, and we'll back it up by matching any non-promotional advertised price. These are not the power tools of 10 or even 5 years ago. The technology has grown to allow for greater power, longer battery life, and greater versatility. If you haven't handled a power tool in a while, we invite you to come on in and try one out for yourself. Make your next project that much easier with a Makita or Milwaukee Power Tool from Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel's.
Angelus Millwork and Hartnagel Building Supply. Building homes, building community since 1906.
Looking for a career that can take you to new heights? Look no further than Olympic Medical Center. OMC offers a wide range of career opportunities to help you grow and advance in your chosen field. At Olympic Medical Center, you can explore new areas of healthcare, gain valuable experience, and take advantage of ongoing training and education. Why wait? Take the first step towards an exciting new career with OMC today. Discover your next steps at olympicmedical.org/discover.
When purchasing a home or land, nobody wants to inherit existing debts or legal issues that could interfere with their property rights in the future. That's why it's important to work with local title insurance professionals and protect your rights with owner's title insurance. Olympic Peninsula Title has been protecting the property rights of Clallam County customers for 35 years. Put our team of professionals to work for you. For title insurance, contract collections, and escrow services, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title.
Olympic National Park has partnered with the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center, Washington's National Park Fund, and Discover Your Northwest to bring you Terminus, a glacier memorial project.
This breathtaking exhibition includes artwork from 40 artists, including poems, paintings, quilts, music, and more, to memorialize one of 40 glaciers in Olympic National Park. This exhibit will be on display at the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center from July 7th to September 3rd. To learn more, visit pafac.org.
Check on business news next at 10 minutes in front of 1 o'clock and 10 minutes before the close on Wall Street for the day.
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stock and video game giant Activision Blizzard has reached the next level. Shares jumped 5% after a federal judge refused a request by the Federal Trade Commission to stop a $69 billion takeover of the company by Microsoft. The merger would launch Microsoft to becoming the third largest video company in the world, behind China's Tencent and Sony. Prices for goods bought online fell last month at the fastest pace in more than 3 years. New figures from Adobe show prices fell 2.6% from a year ago. Not a lot of polite golf claps on Capitol Hill today. The Senate is scrutinizing antitrust concerns in a hearing after last month's announcement that the PGA would merge with Saudi-backed Live Golf. Newly released emails, memos, and other communication showed discussions dating back to last year, including a promise by Live Golf to stop poaching top golfers in exchange for a say in sports governance. Scott Carr, Bloomberg Radio.
Let's get a last check of the noontime road and traffic conditions next, brought to you by Angela's Furniture and Leeds Farm Supply.
Angela's Furniture has been known for quality home furnishings for the peninsula for over a century, and they thank you for that.
We owe a big thank you to the Olympic Peninsula in a big way. We just really need to thank the community for supporting us. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them.
Get furniture that lasts from a local company that's been here for generations. Angela's Furniture on East 1st Street, Port Angeles.
Bad Boy Mowers is giving back to all those that risk their lives to protect and defend our nation. Our Bad Boys of America Zero Turns for Our Heroes program is available for a limited time at Bad Boys nationwide dealer network. Qualified buyers, that's veterans, active duty military, first responders, EMTs, firefighters, and law enforcement, receive up to 25% off MSRP on all Bad Boy mower models. Get your Bad Boy mower at Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales in Sequim.
Newsradio KONP, traffic and roads.
All right, let's take a look at the latest traffic maps right now. Things pretty busy and at a standstill in some spots just east of Port Angeles on Highway 101 there near Kemp. And also it slows down again as you head out of town on PA towards the Walmart. There's some slowdown. In downtown Port Angeles, just your normal tie-ups downtown proper, a bit on Lincoln Street as well as on First and Front. And, of course, they've got the detour set up there at near Lords and Boulevard on Ray Street. You'll have to work around that. Heading to Sequim, no problems on Highway 101. Just a little bit of a slowdown westbound in Carlsberg. In Sequim itself, just your normal volume on Washington, but no big problems there. Hood Canal Bridge is open to traffic. No scheduled closures for traffic today, and the ferries are running on time as of right now. Well, after several months, a new number one song in the country. More from ABC's Jason Nathanson on that.
I've made some real big mistakes.
No mistakes for Olivia Rodrigo. Vampire, her first single from her second album, debuts at number one on the Billboard Hot 100 singles chart. It's her third number one, and it knocks Morgan Wallen's Last Night out of the top spot, where it's been for the past 10 weeks straight, and 13 weeks overall. Rodrigo's first single, Driver's License, from her first album, also debuted at number one, making her the first artist to debut their first two singles from their first two albums at number one. She's also the only artist born in the 2000s with more than one chart topper. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Walmart shoppers be warned, there are skimmer scammers targeting the department store's checkouts and gas pumps. Shoppers at 8 stores in the East Coast have had their credit card information stolen with the look-alike devices. ABC's Andrew Dimber tells us what to look out for and how you can avoid being scammed.
A shell attaches to the front of the credit card machine, capturing your card's information and any keypad touches after you swipe. It then uses Bluetooth technology to transmit the data to scammers, mainly at gas pumps, ATMs, and point-of-sale pads. First, inspect the credit card reader before you swipe. Be aware of anything loose, crooked, or damaged. If you're at an ATM, use your free hand to cover the number pad before entering your PIN, and at the gas station, try to use a pump in clear sight of the attendant or head inside to pay.
Coming up next hour on the TO Show, we're going to be talking a bit about Clallam 2 Fire Rescue, specifically about the burn ban, wildland fires, a bit about volunteers, and then we're going to get the Clallam County Sheriff's take on the latest crime stats that are out from the Washington State Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs. It's next hour.
If you use ChatGPT, consider for a moment that everything it knows was conceived and written by real-life human beings. And as I've predicted, some of those humans will get very angry when they find out that all their hard work has been harvested and used for free by ChatGPT. People like comedian Sarah Silverman. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. Sarah Silverman and 2 other writers have filed what they hope will turn into a huge class action lawsuit. She claims that ChatGPT basically stole copyrighted material from her books. And that's it. Everything that ChatGPT knows was collected from material written by millions of humans. Clearly, this lawsuit is only the first one of many. And by the way, if you use someone's copyrighted material that was supplied by ChatGPT, you may wind up as part of the lawsuit too. Join over 400,000 people just like you and get my free newsletter every single day. You can sign up right now at getkim.com. When an intruder threatens your home, every second counts. That's why I'm excited to tell you about Simply Safe Home Security's latest innovation. It's called 24/7 Live Guard Protection, and it's made possible by Simply Safe's new Smart Alarm wireless indoor camera. Now with a Fast Protect monitoring plan, if an intruder breaks in, Simply Safe monitoring agents can actually see, speak to, and deter them through the camera, letting them know that they're being recorded and that police are on their way. It's a game changer in home security. The new Smart Alarm indoor camera and 24/7 Live Guard protection work seamlessly as part of a Simply Safe whole home security system, keeping your home safe from break-ins, fires, flooding, and more. Right now, get a special 20% off any Simply Safe system when you sign up for Fast Protect monitoring. This huge offer is only available for a limited time. Visit simplysafekim.com. That's simplysafekim.com. There's no safe like Simply Safe. simplysafekim.com.
For what it's worth, I'm Sherry Preston. More than 100 days after their son was arrested in Russia, the parents of Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich speaking exclusively with ABC News. Evan's mother saying he is keeping his sense of humor, teasing her a bit in letters, comparing the breakfast she used to make him as a kid with the prison food in Russia he's getting now.
I thought it was funny that I insisted on oatmeal. That I thought it was very healthy, and now it's laughing matter.
Ella Millman and Mikhail Gershkovich meeting recently with President Biden as their son faces espionage charges in Russia.
President Biden spoke to us and gave us a promise to do whatever it takes. He talked to us as a parent, and he told us he understands our pain.
And their message to any Russian officials who might be listening:
journalism is not a crime.
We want our son back.
For what it's worth, Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. Or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Cam for Bathfitter.
Bathfitter prides itself on a one-day bath remodel. One thing that's very important at Bathfitter is paying attention to the detail. At Bathfitter, we manufacture our own product. We make it, we measure it, and we install it, and we offer you a lifetime warranty. We believe in building value and trust with our customer to provide choices and a solution for something that they may like and be happy with forever.
Now get $750 off and pay nothing for 18 months. BathfitterNW.com.
How would you like greater control over your electric account? Hi, this is Clallam PUD, and our Smart Pay prepaid account lets you manage your account and track your daily usage from the convenience of your computer or smartphone. Did you know the typical prepaid customer uses 10 to 12% less energy than they did before? It works just like a prepaid cell phone plan. No deposits, no late fees, no billing statements. Visit clallampud.net for more information and find out if SmartPay might be right for you.
Online at myclallamcounty.com. Newsradio
From ABC
KONP,
News.
Port Angeles, Squint.
Franzen. A grand jury seated today in Georgia could decide charges in the state election case involving former President Trump.
The Fulton County grand jury was sworn in and will hear evidence about the effort by former President Trump and his allies to overturn the 2020 presidential election results, including a phone call to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger in early 2021.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
The 2.5-year investigation also included other calls by Trump and his associates to Georgia officials and unfounded allegations of fraud pushed by Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
GOP Senator Tommy Tuberville today defending his statements about white nationalists.
Senator Tommy Tuberville asked by reporters why he's refused to denounce white nationalists and continues to call them Americans despite their racist views. Pressed by ABC's Rachel Scott.
And if the Democrats want to say that white nationalists are racist, I'm totally against that too.
But that's not a Democratic definition. The definition of a white nationalist is someone...
My definition.
It is the definition.
Tuberville also in the spotlight for a procedural hold he's placed on all military nominations, stalling an estimated 260 senior officer nominations in the Senate. Jay O'Brien, ABC News, the capital.
At the NATO summit in Lithuania, the alliance welcomed newest members, Finland and Sweden, and pledged to include Ukraine when the war with Russia is over. Ukraine's President Zelensky criticizing that decision. ABC's Inez de la Quatera is there and has more on what's ahead for President Biden tomorrow.
Zelensky will be meeting with Biden at the summit. That's going to be a very interesting meeting because Zelensky not holding back here. He's been very forceful in his criticism, but at the same time, of course, needs to stay on Biden's good side because he is so heavily dependent on the U.S. for the war in Ukraine.
Russia criticizing NATO's expanded borders with Finland and Sweden. You're listening to ABC News.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article, or sensitive personal information about your family. Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff, so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Tens of millions of Americans under heat warnings as extreme temperatures bake a stretch of the country from California to Florida.
In Miami, the water temperatures are in the mid-90s and the air feels like it's 110 degrees. In Phoenix, it could be 115 degrees by the end of the week. And in California, the extreme temperatures with even hotter temps coming are drying out grasses that are ready to explode, says Eric Sherwin at San Bernardino County Fire.
As we get into this heat wave and we get successive days of heat,
that crop is very receptive to burn.
This heat wave is prolonged and expected to last into next week. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
The fire that burned for days aboard a cargo ship docked at Port Newark, New Jersey, is out. The U.S. Coast Guard says they will now determine the cause of that blaze. Coast Guard Captain Zeta Merchant.
This is merely the first step of a long process, as we now need to consider the salvage and transfer of the vessel, a process that can be hazardous and complex as well.
2 Newark firefighters died battling the blaze. They will be laid to rest later this week. Amazon just kicked off its annual Prime Days, but cybersecurity experts are urging bargain hunters looking for a steal to be cautious. Analysts are warning shoppers to be aware of scams to steal their information, including phishing emails, fake websites, social media posts, and text messages. This is ABC News.
Solving mysteries is hard. Streaming them isn't. We need to know what happened.
There's someone else pulling the strings here.
This month, get in touch with your inner detective and stream the best selection of British mysteries during Mystery Month on BritBox.
That is interesting.
Watch entire series of fan favourites, including the newest seasons of Luther, Silent Witness, Father Brown, Vera, and more.
My lips are sealed.
No one does mystery like the Brits. Start streaming now with a free trial at BritBox.com.
I'm Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
An advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. For the second year in a row, Washington saw an increase in homicides and other violent crimes in 2022, while the number of officers statewide dropped to the lowest rate in its history. The State Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs releasing its annual crime report yesterday. It showed that last year property crime increased by 9.8% and violent crimes went up 8.9% compared to 2021. And in 2022, the number of officers decreased to a rate of 1.36 officers per 1,000, putting Washington at the 51st lowest rate among all states and Washington, D.C. for the 13th year in a row.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. A blend of clouds and sun this afternoon with highs around 64. Northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly cloudy skies expected tonight, lows around 51. Overcast tomorrow, slight chance for scattered showers. High temperatures reach up to 63. Dry with temps near average Thursday and Friday and highs in the upper 60s. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 62 degrees.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
Welcome to the program. Going to spend the first part of the show today talking about Clallam 2 Fire Rescue. Just a lot about what's going on out there this dry season that we're in, and a bit about volunteers and the need for staff and personnel and all of that related. We welcome to the studio today Fire Chief Jake Patterson from Clallam 2 Fire Rescue. Jake, good to see you again. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Always. And we're going to be talking a little bit later with the volunteer training coordinator, Annika Hughes. Annika, it's good to see you again. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. First, though, it has been tinder dry out there, to say the least. I jokingly said, well, I guess everything's not on fire right now because you were able to come in and be here today. And I say that half joking because it's been quite busy, Jake, for crews all over the area, actually.
It has been incredibly busy these last several weeks, and especially the July 4th holiday week has been busy for all the agencies throughout Clallam County.
Give us a feel for kind of just your Fire District 2 folks, because it's not just, I think people need to realize it's not just in your district when something catches on fire. Then you are doing mutual aid to cover for other people that are dealing with a fire, for example, in a neighboring district.
We do. All the neighboring fire districts rely heavily on each other for assistance. Right. We actually sent an engine along with Fire District 3 out to help staff up the Forks Fire Station when they were having their large incident. And that's something that doesn't happen quite that often, but all their resources were tapped on that fire, and so they realized they needed some little bit of help just in case anything else happened. And they had a good handle on everything going on out there, and unfortunately we didn't have to do anything, but we were more than happy to help.
All right. So give us how busy you were for Fire District 2 just over the last 4th of July or so. Maybe you don't have all the numbers right at your head, but
we do. So our fire district, we normally run about 1,800 calls a year. So you boil that down to, it's about 4.5 calls on average per day. Our neighboring fire districts, Fire District 3, I mean, they run, I think they're a little over 8,000 calls a year, and City of Port Angeles about 5,600. So our small fire district, about 4.5 calls in a 24-hour period. From the 4th of July morning to the 5th of July morning, we ran 19 calls.
Wow.
And our crew that was on got 0 hours of sleep that night, so they were they were dragging.
You got nearly a week's worth of calls in 24 hours, basically.
Yes.
Is what it sounds like.
Yep, and as we get busy and the calls stack up, we rely on our partners, Port Angeles Fire Department, Fire District 3, and Olympic Ambulance especially. They're able to help cover the medical emergencies that happen.
Right. So. How much was that fireworks related, would you say, if you had to give a percentage to that?
I would probably say half our fires that we had were fireworks related or suspected. It's usually a pretty good clue if there's a bunch of spent fireworks laying all around where the fire's at. Right. So,
which then leads me into kind of the bigger part of this discussion is that it has been just dry. I mean, we jokingly say around here that the summer doesn't start till the 5th of July. Well, it started well before that, and it's been very dry. And although the weather was beautiful and warm and all, that's not usually how we play here on the 4th of July, around these parts at least.
Exactly. We've had an extended dry period. We'll get a little bit of rain, and it doesn't do enough to soak it and by the time the winds pick up and the heat picks up again. We're in the fire service. We're those people that want rain on the 4th of July, and I think we're the only ones that do. But we like to enjoy ourselves during the holidays as much as it is. But it does, these long periods makes it so that our crews are very busy during that week. And
it's been an extended time. I mean, this is for a number of weeks before the 4th of July as well. We really have not had a typical spring around here, which is only exacerbating what's going on out there today even.
Yeah, normally, George Bailey, the fire marshal of the county, we have a normal burn ban that starts, burn restrictions that start on July 1st. He started earlier just because we have a higher fire danger and the ratings went up. And so they started the burn restrictions earlier. And then, in years past, we've gone into August before a complete burn ban starts.
And here we are in July, first part of July, and it's a complete burn ban now. So so let's talk about that, what that means for folks out there. They need to understand, I mean, there's basically no burning unless you have a propane barbecue. That's about it, right?
Yes. The restrictions and it kind of getting rid of all the gray area there when we talk about burn bans. And so the county fire marshal imposes the burn ban throughout the county. It applies to all outdoor burning, and that includes briquette barbecues and pellet stoves or anything like that. Basically, anything that potentially can emit embers or have hot ash residue or anything like that is banned. So the only thing that's legal right now is gas fired, because it's clean burning.
Right.
So.
And that said, it still has to be over a non-flammable spot. So this needs to be on your patio away from anything flammable on top of it.
It does. It needs to be on a hard surface there away from the brush and the grass. And another note that we usually get this every year, quite a few fires, and it was specifically called out this year, is even though you can use propane barbecues, you can't use propane weed burners.
Right, and you had this in the notes that this is, people still have used those in the past, that even though there's a burn ban, it seems...
And it was put in with the burn restrictions because more and more we're getting people trying to burn their weeds, and they light the arborvitaes in front of their house on fire, and it's going pretty fast.
I was going to say, I don't know, just looking around if I'd even attempt that. Even if I could use it, that seems a little bit dangerous at this point. This will stay in effect until probably October at this point. I mean, the way it's going, because normally we have the normal restrictions go until October.
Yep.
But I'm not seeing, at least in the extended forecast, any sort of a relief that would change this. And I think probably would have to be a pretty significant long haul of rain before this might change.
It would be, and even if we had, there's nothing in the forecast, but even if we had a week of rain, we don't want this seesaw of burn bans on, burn bans off, burn bans on. And so usually when it gets put on, you can pretty much count on it. It's going to be at least till the end of September and maybe into October before we get a significant amount of rain. So
for campgrounds, if you're at a campground, can they still burn in a actual fire pit at a designated campground or not? What is the difference?
No. Well, and again, this is sometimes where it can get confusing, and unfortunately for the public out there, it depends whose campground it is. If it's a Park Service campground, a Forest Service campground, a DNR campground. My understanding is in Clallam County, like the county parks and all that stuff, there's no burning at all.
Got it. Yeah. And I think you can do some in established campgrounds in the park and the forest, but you better double check.
Yeah.
Because the way I read it, it also kind of depends on which campground you're at that point too. Yeah. So it's just really, really dry. I don't think we've been, as you mentioned, this dry this soon. You've been around here a long time. Has it been this dry this early in the summer in your recent memory?
These last several years, we've had larger and larger wildfires. I mean, people turn on the news, they can see them throughout the country and actually the world. And anecdotally, here in the Pacific Northwest in Clallam County, I can't remember the last time that we've had to have air tankers do retardant drops on our fire. And so we had the Sutherland fire several weeks ago, which was surprisingly how large that fire got quickly.
Well, and let's talk about that since you're here. You were the first responding units at that because it was called in as maybe a little bit of a slash or something that was still smoldering more or less. But it took off. That was fueled by the wind. Had a lot to do with that, didn't it? Right.
It did, and so it was dry, and it's in the old clear cuts with the slash down, and so it's had years to dry out. And then you add the lack of rain, high temperature, and then that wind just pushed it right up the hillside, and it just was. Got beyond our control, and then DNR was able to mobilize and bring in their resources and assets and the might of the whole state behind them. And so
it was a crazy response, I have to say. I mean, within hours, there were helicopters and tankers and all of that, which I think was a good thing because that could have gotten even worse out of control. I think if we were left to ourselves for any more than that.
And they really wanted to get it quickly because it was. Early enough in the season that those resources were available, but so you wanted to use them to make sure to get that thing contained because within the next week, probably those resources may or may not have been available.
Today, if you were to put that call in, it'd be tough to get them here, wouldn't it?
Well, I know, and I know they ran into that with the Forks fire because of all the other fires going on in the state during that week. That it does limit the ability for those resources, and so they get spread awfully thin real quick.
Speculate, if you will. Why is it that these slash burn areas tend to, get an ignition like that? I mean, there's obviously people could do it, but do these things, can they just sit for a long, long time and then just the right conditions will cause it to flare up again?
They can. Old fires will sit for weeks. We just actually got called out this morning near where the Sutherland fire was for a smoke investigation. And we couldn't find anything new, but as we drove by the old burn, there's still stumps that are producing smoke columns coming out of that fire. And so they can be dormant for a while and then smoldering underground, and then when the wind picks back up. So that's why there's a lot of resources that are used to try to make it safe. And unfortunately, the smoke coming from those things is well within the center of the fire, and it's not going anywhere.
Right. But there you go.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes, you may not think that, how in the world did that start? And it could be from activity from quite a while ago.
Yep.
Now, the other part of, and we've talked about this too, is that you deal with those types of wildland fires. You also have beach fires that you have to deal with too, which is a whole nother ball game, if you will. So tell us a bit about some of the response you've had to deal with that. You had, actually, I think a few weeks ago, a couple of going at the same time, more or less. I mean, you were all over the place. One of them was a beach fire.
Yeah, and the beach have the dry grass out there. The wind, of course, the temperature, even though the temperature might not be high, the wind dries out what we call the light fuels on the beach grass. And then, people like to have their houses right. I'd love to have my house right on the beach. And if you don't have a good enough barrier between the beach grass and your house, if you got a big bunch of bushes and trees right next to it, it just it'll move right quickly with the wind out there on the beach.
And some of those fires are tough to get to as well. You have to kind of hike your way to them. Some of them
are
a little easier because they're closer to those houses you're talking about. But
there's the I shouldn't say pros and cons, because there's really no pros to having a beach fire, but I mean, some of them are pretty remote where our crews have to hike in to get them. While it may not look like it's going anywhere, the wind direction can change, and then all of a sudden the beach grass starts going and more. And then other ones where the houses are right there, and that's when you see the firefighters running through people's yards to get right out in front of the houses, because unfortunately they're in danger. So
part of the problem with a beach fire, I would think, too, is that people feel, I guess, maybe a false sense of security that, we could have a little fire here on the beach. We're right next to the water.
Yeah, I mean,
this seems like a logical place. It won't be it's not like I'm in the middle of the forest, for example.
And then you get that cooling effect of the water, so it doesn't seem that hot down there, but the wind does tend to dry it out.
So you had one at Four Seasons Ranch. You also had one out at the Lower Elwha just recently. Is that right? You had two.
We've had a few down at the Lower Elwha down there. So
that's and are those mostly people have done just that? They've started a fire. How do these usually get going? Have you?
Usually fireworks around the 4th of July,
okay.
And sometimes people will have a fire. And we've been down a few times to beach log fires that people will build, like, they'll use the beach logs and stack and make a shelter to block the wind or whatnot. And if the fire doesn't get put completely out, if they have a campfire down there, it'll get the beach logs going. So usually gets a pile of logs going, and we hope it doesn't spread to the grass.
All right. So the messaging right now, I mean, it's nothing should be burning at all. But what are you telling folks about the situation out there?
Just be smart about it. It'll be. Things will catch on fire faster than you think. And that's why when these burn bans are put in, you do a big blanket approach of everything. Because if you try to start going, well, these are okay and these are okay, the first time somebody takes their old briquette ashes and goes, okay, it's been several days, I'll just put them out here, and the wind picks up, they can get them going. So just be cautious around all the dry grass and make sure that you have enough of a buffer space around your house, so that if you are encountered with a wildland fire, it doesn't burn right up to your house.
And the note is, crews get spread pretty thin this time of year, as you just pointed out. When you're on 19 plus calls in a 24-hour period, that starts to take a toll. It's got an effect on the people coming to take care of you.
It does, and with all the agencies being busy over the week, you really. Normally, if you have one large incident, you're able to pull help from the other agencies, while those agencies can still manage their normal incident load. But when everybody's busy, you have less ability to rely on your neighbors. And so they do get spread thin really fast.
All right. Be careful out there and heed the burn ban and just hunker down, right? And just stay cool and don't try to stay warm, I guess, might be the way to keep the fires out. Speaking of personnel and trying to bolster those, we're going to talk about one way is to get some more volunteers in with organizations like Clallam 2 Fire Rescue. We're going to talk with Annika Hughes about just that and the training and some of the things that come with that when we come back on the program right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
Red Carpet Car Wash in Carlsberg salutes our military veterans, active duty, and first responders each and every day. This isn't a special or a one-time deal. 365 days a year, Red Carpet offers 10% off all services to this special group. Please let them know who you are so they can honor you. And for Purple Heart recipients, you'll receive a free wash anytime, every day. Please accept our appreciation for your service and sacrifice. Red Carpet Car Wash, open Monday through Sunday, 8 till 5.
July is the first full month of summer. Don't you just love the longer days and warmer weather? This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and if you've been thinking about a new truck to pull your trailer or tow your boat, we have some great choices for you. Choose from the Tundra, Tacoma, Titan, Frontier, Ram, or the Honda Ridgeline. With tons of new and used vehicles to choose from in the Wilder Vantage, why would you go anywhere else? Stop by or check us out 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
Your community-minded friends at First Fed bring you the Community Corner, highlighting good things happening right here in our area.
The Clothes Closet at the First United Methodist Church in Port Angeles is accepting new or gently used men's and women's clothing and bedding. The Closet at 7th and Laurel is open from 1 to 3 p.m. Wednesdays. Donations can be dropped off between 9 and 3 daily. Items particularly needed are men's t-shirts, tennis shoes, socks, underwear, warm coats, and small-sized jeans. No suits or dress shoes, please. This service, started and sponsored by the United Methodist Women 25 years ago, offers clothing to anyone in need. A big thank you from Habitat Clallam. With your help, they built over 35 houses and counting now. Visit Habitat for Humanity stores in Port Angeles and Squim, or consider becoming a monthly donor to support them.
Community Corner on KONP, presented by First Fed.
Olympic National Park has partnered with the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center, Washington's National Park Fund, and Discover Your Northwest to bring you Terminus, a glacier memorial project. This breathtaking exhibition includes artwork from 40 artists, including poems, paintings, quilts, music, and more, to memorialize one of 40 glaciers in Olympic National Park. This exhibit will be on display at the Port Angeles Fine Arts Center from July 7th to September 3rd. To learn more, visit pafac.org.
Clallam Transit System now offers free fare for veterans. Veteran ID cards are issued at the Transit Administration Office Monday through Friday from 9 till 4 p.m. at 830 West Lauridsen Boulevard in Port Angeles. The free fare applies to all Clallam Transit services, including Fixed Route, Dial-A-Ride, Interlink, and Clallam Connect. More information and an online application can be found at www.clallamtransit.com/veterans. Thank you for your service.
Back with more as we talk about personnel for Clallam 2 Fire Rescue. It relies heavily, to say the least, on volunteers. It's namely a volunteer organization. We're going to talk with the volunteer training coordinator, Annika Hughes, about, and I just asked during the break about the next window for this that's coming up. She's hoping to get people with applications or an interest in this to get applications in the next couple of weeks, because although you need volunteers, you are only kind of able to do this in a few times out of the year. So explain a bit about your recruitment, what you need, how somebody might go about it, and then kind of the 22nd is you're hoping to be the next deadline?
Yes, the 22nd of July. So we, right now we have around 36 volunteers. We really hope to have around 50 to 60 volunteers. Our volunteers that we do have are amazing individuals that are really active, and they get a lot of opportunities to be the first people on scene. They are EMTs and firefighters, and they get a lot of good training as well. Some of the training requirements that we do have for folks thinking about becoming a volunteer, some basic ones that you'll see just pretty standard, like have to be 18 years of age, have a high school diploma or GED, legal right to work in the United States, things like that. But really one of the big requirements for us is time, having some time to give to the organization. And there's a couple different steps for time. So one of the things is that we do training on Tuesday nights from 18:30 to 9:30, and that's our ongoing training that keeps everyone's skills sharp and ready for the community and keeps us progressing down the road. And what's the latest and greatest for EMTs, what's VES, what's vent inner search for firefighters, how does that apply? And then there's actually going on the calls, which is our big thing. That's what we want volunteers for. And there's a lot of different variety of calls that apply. So EMS, fires, wildland fires, we will work with our volunteers to get red cards. We'll work with them to get their EMTs. We'll work with them to get their fire certs, and also tech rescue, so their rope rescue certs. So there's a lot of amazing training opportunities for potential volunteers.
You can come into this with absolutely no background, though. I mean, if this is just something that's, this might interest you or pique your interest, you don't have to have any sort of, prerequisite of sorts.
Yeah, no, there's walk in the door, come talk to me, and we'll start working on certs while we bring folks on in what we call a recruit status. And so you get onboarded, you can start going on calls under the supervision of a EMT, and while we work on getting your EMT or some other certifications.
Right. So what do you need to have in order to volunteer? So you got to have at least this before I come see you.
Yeah. So pretty much high school diploma, driver's license, with a clear driving record be able to pass a background check. And then a PAT, so there's a physical component.
Right. Now, I'm going to stop you there because some people will go, okay, how hard is that? Give us an idea what the first level PAT is.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's 7 steps. It is a raising a ladder, extending a ladder, going up a set of stairs with about 40 pounds, pulling a dummy, which is about 120 pounds, and then also extending a hose line. I've never had anybody not go through because of the PAT.
Okay.
So we've had people that we have said we will work with you and we will get you there, but that has not been the hurdle.
That was my next question, is that because I think that's one of the things that might keep them. Well, I've been sitting on the couch for a lot of years, and they get a little bit nervous about am I going to even be able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times I hear I'm too old to be doing that, and I have a number of volunteers that are 55, 60.
Yeah.
And they love it.
Yep.
And they're loving it. So.
Okay. So you need to do that. You also then, once you get into the ranks, there's kind of a process, and you need to kind of stick with your certifications, if I recall. I mean, eventually you need to get a certain amount of these done, right?
So yeah, we want to see some kind of certification within the first year, which is kind of back to that time commitment. There is an initial kind of a commitment to a cert. So an EMT, which is available through Peninsula College, is usually one evening and an all-day Saturday for a quarter. So 3 months. And we do have our volunteers pay for that up front, and then we reimburse them after a year of being a volunteer with us.
Okay. One of the, and I've talked with Jake about this in the past, the advantage of that. I mean, this is a great way to get some training, and I know some people use this as a career springboard. I mean, it's maybe not be the 55-year-olds that are coming, but maybe some of the younger folks, right?
I'm happy to say that one of the reasons that our numbers, that we're at our 36 volunteers instead of our 50 or 60 is actually a lot of our volunteers have moved on to career positions, which I see as a win for the fire community.
Right.
So the certifications that you can get through volunteering, IFSAC certification, which is a nationally recognized fire cert, your Washington State EMT, which is good anywhere in Washington, and actually, quite frankly, usually reciprocity in most states in the U.S. And then we're additional certs. We will work with people to get their Fire 2, Tech Rescue certs, and there's lots of training available for those that want to pursue it.
Someday you may end up like Jake and be the chief. Yeah. That's how these things get started sometimes, right?
Old and ready to retire. No.
All right. So people, if they have a question, I know this is part of your job is to answer questions as well as people coming in to say, hey, I want to sign me up. But, just give you a call at the headquarters.
Yeah.
What's the best thing?
We do have a volunteer interest card available online or at our admin office, which just gives us some contact information. So you don't have to fill out a whole application and give all your personal information to just find out if this is something you want to do. And then I reach out to you, we sit down and we talk about how you respond to calls, kind of what drills look like, if you're interested in EMS, fire, things like that.
All right. And then there's kind of a couple of interview panels that come with that, and then you're on your way.
Yeah. So kind of the steps so you come talk to me, we see it, I talk to you about, you ask all your questions that you have, and then we do a panel interview board with our officers, our volunteer officers, and a PAT. And then after that, we do a medical, which we pay for, and the background check, comes before the interview. And then we do an onboarding. And so you get to spend a lot of time with me where I talk about how to respond to calls and stuff like that.
This is what we do, right?
A lot of time with me on how to get going. Because one of the biggest things for new volunteers is, okay, I'm in. Now what? Right. And so we really work hard to eliminate those those fears of being a new volunteer and responding to emergencies.
All right. Last thing, too, even though you're a volunteer, there is some benefits that come with it. There's some stipend. There's some dollars, some health benefits and some things, too. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we do offer a stipend for going on calls and for training, as well as the Board of Volunteer Firefighters, which is a retirement plan for volunteers. So after 25 years of volunteering, you get, I'm not sure the exact number right now, it just went up, but you're vested after 5. And then after 25 years with us and at retirement age, I think you get around $350 a month.
So you get a little something back.
A little something back, yeah. I tell people that's a car payment.
Yeah. And you've already gotten stipends through all of this as well. So, okay. All the info is online. Go to your website to get started. Might be the best place to do this. And that is clallamfire2, the number 2.org. And you can also give a holler out to Annika, and she'll gladly tell you all of the steps because they're now I don't want to say desperately always looking for volunteers to get those numbers back up to 40 or 50 and see if we can do it in this window. But coming up, a tight deadline on the 22nd, so if you're interested, now's the time to make a move on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Come talk to me now, please.
Okay, very good. I think it's great to see you again. Thanks for coming down to talk about that. She is the volunteer training coordinator for Fire District 2, Clallam 2 Fire Rescue, and Jake Patterson is the chief there. Jake, great to see you again as well. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us again.
Appreciate it. We will take a break. We're going to talk with Clallam County Sheriff Brian King about the latest state crime stats right after this.
Sign up your kids for free bowling at Laurel Lanes this summer. Go to laurellanes.com or call 360-457-5858 for more information and take part in their Kids Bowl Free program for kids 18 and under. Laurel Lanes strives to provide a fun and safe environment where everyone is welcome. And they serve fantastic pizza too. Plus, there are family passes available so the entire family can join in the fun. Sign up now and come have a ball at Laurel Lanes, 108 West 8th Street.
Is there a teen in your life that is unsure about their future opportunities? Peninsula College and United Way have just the thing. We're excited to announce the first Future Opportunities Day Camp on PC's Port Angeles campus. At this all-day event on August 3rd, campers will learn about opportunities after high school, experience college life, engage in crafts and games, and maybe win some prizes. This is free. Breakfast, lunch, and snacks are provided. To register, visit our website at tinyurl.com/United Way Financial Aid.
It's time to play Perfect Food Pairings, brought to you by Mountain Dew. This dish pairs perfectly with the bold citrus kick of Mountain Dew.
Oh, street tacos.
Sorry, that is not the answer we're looking for.
Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
Sorry, that is also not the answer.
What the heck?
Is it chicken wings?
Correct.
What? Wait a second.
Yeah, hold on. Mountain Dew pairs perfectly with street tacos.
And Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
This show is so lame.
The show is not lame.
Yeah, you're lame.
Nothing pairs perfectly with food like Mountain Dew. Do the Dew.
Washington State News Network, I'm Michael McDonald. Senate Republicans are introducing legislation to allow workers to opt out of the mandatory long-term care tax with no need of proof of other coverage. Rebates would be offered for people now being forced to pay the tax. Senator Linda Wilson.
We have to start listening to the people. And the people in 2019, there was an advisory vote on that long-term care tax program, and 63% in the state said no, they didn't want it.
The WA Cares tax is $58 annually for every $10,000 in pay. That means somebody making $50,000 will pay $290 a year. Summer is a very difficult time for organizations that take blood donations. Vacations, other activities keep people away from donating. Red Cross has collected 50,000 fewer blood donations than needed over the last 2 months. Now Red Cross is working with the Discovery Channel for the 35th anniversary of Shark Week. Beginning tomorrow, donors will be entered for a chance to win a 3-night New York trip for 2 with a private shark dive adventure at Long Island Aquarium. Starting July 17th, donors will also get a Shark Week t-shirt. Make appointments to donate at redcrossblood.org. And reports that northern lights will be visible across 16 states, including Washington, may not happen. Website EarthSky, which monitors solar activity, says recent reports that there will be geomagnetic storms around July 13th are wrong. For details on these stories and others, download the WSNN mobile app or visit WashingtonStateNews.net.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast. A blend of clouds and sun this afternoon with highs around 64. Northwest winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly cloudy skies expected tonight, lows around 51. Overcast tomorrow, slight chance for scattered showers. High temperatures reach up to 63. Dry with temps near average Thursday and Friday, and highs in the upper 60s. I'm weatherology meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 62 degrees.
All right, back with more on the program. Going to switch gears now and get to another part of first response, and that's the law enforcement end of things. This is the first of what's going to be a couple of days. We're going to dive into the crime stats that just released. If you heard on the news today, yesterday, the State Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs, I'll just call it kind of shocking news came out, maybe not surprising, but the stats for crimes going up 9-10-ish% overall in almost all categories across the state. So we're going to talk with Brian King. He is the sheriff here in Clallam County, just his take on that numbers, and kind of dive down into what he has seen in his department here in Clallam County locally. So Brian, it's great to see you again. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks, Todd.
And tomorrow we'll be talking a bit with the city of Port Angeles folks. So we'll get a little bit of the what's going on in the peninsula's largest city, as well as what's happening in the unincorporated areas. So that said, I guess your take first. We were just chatting before we went on that there's just some stats that are just absolutely flooring. I mean, the homicide rate is crazy in the state, not necessarily here, but one of the things that really stood out, car thefts. 50,000 cars were stolen last year in the state of Washington.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to, what police leaders across our state have been saying for the past several years, since we really looked at these police reform laws on pursuits, and we've stood up and we've told our legislators and we've told the people of our county and of our state that there's got to be a deterrent factor here. And when you take away our ability to pursue vehicles, there's going to be an extreme adverse effect on our crime rate, and we're experiencing that right now statewide.
One of the things we talked during the break, too, is that, not every car theft results in some high-speed chase that goes through neighborhoods and all of that as well. Quite frankly, there's more often than not a chase involved. But it's easy as a criminal now to say, well, they'll never chase me, so I might as well go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the current legislation has created this bright line rule that says, hey, you cannot pursue in these situations versus using